What's up, y'all? Good
What's
morning.
up?
Good morning. We are late. We're late today. We're supposed to get started 42 minutes ago for Midday Motivation. I apologize tremendously. I completely, it slipped my mind. Not because it doesn't matter or anything like that. We were doing something as a family. We went out and we came back, and I started reading, and
he was in his Bible.
Not at the time. I was actually reading a Bible reference book. Anyway, but I looked up at the clock and I was like, oh my God, it's 11:31.
And then he began to rationalize. Do we wait till 12? Because it got to be done on the hour. Do we wait till 12? Do we not do it? No, you jump on and you say, I'm sorry, and we keep it moving. We sorry. We're not sorry. We apologize.
My bad.
Our bad.
Our bad. Her bad. My bad.
That's it. Our bad.
We are, hello.
So we won't take a lot of time doing all the other extra stuff. We just jump right on
the
into
peripherals. Peripherals.
Jump on in.
The book of, I don't even think I shared it.
I got you.
Sorry. The book of Nehemiah. We're in chapter 2. At this point, Nehemiah is preparing to go to Judah over into Jerusalem. Now, what we need to understand is in Ezra, something took place. And I don't know if you recall this, that letters were sent to the king at that time and said to the king, hey, these people over here in Jerusalem have started to build this wall. That's not cool. And the king went back and looked at all the annals, looked at all the archives and everything else and said,
all right, just hold on for 1 second. That's from the memory from 3 years ago.
That's not God.
That's God.
That's not God.
That is God. How can you deny that?
So now you got to clue them in on what you laughing at.
So
on Friday.
Yes, on Friday for those who were there.
This is a pause. Not a parenthetical pause.
No, this is a real pause. It's a commercial break. Y'all know our conversation on Friday for Fellowship Fun Fridays.
Her conversation on Friday.
Our conversation.
Her conversation. What she said.
His dialogue was silent, but he's still dialoguing. His body.
My dialogue was I got up and walked away.
Silently. And so I'm sharing the information on the page, and I just look, and this is the memory. I'll just say that the memory from this day 3 years ago confirms everything we were talking about on Friday.
Everything you were talking about.
Everything we were talking about
on
Friday. The Lord has confirmed my desire in His Word.
Show them what you're talking about.
No, because everybody wasn't on Fellowship Fun Fridays. They know what we was talking about, Fellowship Fun Fridays. And the memory came up with the same exact conversation. Yeah. God is good.
Nehemiah getting ready to go to Jerusalem. What we need to understand is What we need to understand is that in the book of Ezra, letters were sent to the king, and they said, hey, these people are starting to build these walls. You told them they could build a temple, and they starting to build these walls. You need to tell them to stop. King looked in all his information, looked at everything that the other previous kings had said, and sent out a decree as well. Yes, stop, just cease, desist, do not build anymore. Well, this is why Nehemiah at the end of chapter 1 prays for favor with the king. All right. This is why he does just that. Now, he prays for favor for many days. He weeps, he fasts, he prays, he mourns because the city is in ruin. The city has been in ruin for almost 160 years. And he is mourning. Remember, he was born in captivity, so he doesn't know the years of plush, great things that were happening in Jerusalem and in Judea. And so here we go, chapter 2, verse 1. And it came to pass in the month of Nisan, that is Nisan, not Nisan. If you want to kind of reference when that is, it's like mid-March to mid-April. Okay. In the 20th year of King Artaxerxes. Now, if you track it back in chapter 1, this has been about 3 or 4 months that he prayed. It was not that he prayed for a day and then went to the king. He was 3 or 4 months. He kept on doing his job. He kept on being a cupbearer. He kept on doing this. And now remember, if you don't know what the role or task of the cupbearer was, he had to taste the king's drinks before he brought it to the king. He had to make sure it was not poisoned or anything. Yeah. That's somebody you trust. That's somebody you trust. Just anybody can get a cup. So, and it's not like he gets it from the basin where they pour into the cup. When they pour it into the cup, he has to taste it out of the cup. Okay.
That's why and I don't know, English is becoming so important. He is the king's cup bearer. He's not just the cup bearer. The cup of the king is the one he gets to take from, like you're saying, not from the pitcher, but from your glass with ice all in it, and he got to go drink from your glass with the ice clanging on the side.
Got it. Exactly. Or the sugar coating it.
The sugar.
So it's in the 20th year of King Artaxerxes, when wine was before him, that I took the wine and gave it to the king. Okay, so this is Nehemiah. He's bringing the king his wine. Now I had never been sad in his presence before. That's a key to remember. He's never been sad in his presence. He likes his job. He enjoys what he's doing. This is where he's been. He enjoys what he's doing, taking care of the king, even though the king is a pagan. Nehemiah fears God. The king is a pagan, but he enjoys the fact that he gets to bear the king's cup. Okay. Therefore, verse 2, the king said to me, "Why is your face sad since you are not sick?" So normally this suggests that whenever people were before the king, they were happy. Now remember in the book of Ezra, I think it was Mordecai. He wanted to make sure he had on, I think he ripped his clothes, or he was in sackcloth, and he didn't want to go before the king because nobody went before the king sad. You couldn't just go, damn, well, it's whatever. Your hair ain't done, your hair ain't cut, your beard ain't shaved, whatever. And you got on any old thing. You went to the king, you came to the king, correct. And so this shows us that same thing. That was the custom of the day. It says, this is nothing but sorrow of heart.
Can I just pause there
Absolutely.
And tell you how Jesus redeems us from all that legality, even in that, because now we have the opportunity and the privilege to come before the king, really just transparent. Once you know better, you do better, but you get to come to him just like you are. Like, you don't have to come all pomp and pious and all, all the pomp and circumstance or whatever. You just get to
talking in King James when you talking regular English.
You just get to come just like you are. And I'm not even talking about that, but you get to come broken. You get to come sad.
Yep.
You get to come drunk. You get to come high. You get to come to the presence of the king just how you are. But when you leave the presence of the king, you won't be the same.
You will not. You will not.
It
says, verse 2, the end of verse 2, so I became dreadfully afraid. So Nehemiah is having this war within himself at this moment because he realizes I'm sad. The king sees that I'm sad. He also sees I'm not sick, and he sees sorrow. Sad, sick, and sorrow. That's what the king sees.
Wow.
The king sees. He's not supposed to see that in his presence. So Nehemiah becomes dreadfully afraid. Nehemiah does not know what's going to happen next. The king literally could have cut him down, and that's it. So here we go. Watch this. Verse 3. So I became dreadfully afraid, verse 3, and said to the king, I can imagine he probably took a deep breath right here and said, may the king live forever. Why should my face not be sad when the city, the place of my father's tomb, or the place of my fathers have died, lays waste, and its gates are burned with fire. Check this. Most people, when you know you aren't supposed to be sad, sorrowful in front of the king, most people would say, oh, nah, I'm good. But Nehemiah had prayed for favor. This is where we see Nehemiah walking out what he believed was going to take place. He believed it would fully be, God is going to do this for me. I've been praying about it. I believe this is going to happen. So if you believe a thing, you walk and you speak in regard based on what you believe.
Oh, that's good.
Okay. So if I believe that these glasses are going to help me see better, when I put them on, I don't squint when I still got them on. I open my eyes and say, oh man, I can't see. Let me find them. Boom, there's my glasses. Pop them on. I'm good. Or whatever it is. So Nehemiah says to him, the reason I'm sad and I'm sorrowful because I ain't sick is because I have no reason to be happy, because the place in which my ancestors and my fathers and all have come from, the place where I'm from lies in waste and the gates are burned with fire. It is total destruction over there, and I'm living in the lap of luxury. I have a friend of mine that went and did a mission trip in Africa a number of years ago, and he said he went to Africa, and when he came back home, for 2 months, he didn't take a hot shower. And I said, why? And as soon as I said why, I got it. And it was simply, he said, man, how could I be I'm in America and I got hot water, and my ancestors and these people that are unbelievers, etc., are in these places. They can't even take a shower. They have to bathe with cold, dirty water. How can I, and another one of his mentors kind of had to let him know, hey, don't do that. Let that push you to do, continue doing what you're doing, but you don't have to say, well, I'm just not going to do this because they can't. Nehemiah says, I don't have a reason to be happy. I don't have a reason to be, I don't have a reason to be happy. I don't have a reason to be overjoyed, because where I live is in ruin. And so then the king, so that's all he says. He tells him why he's sad. Here's favor forward. Here's it walking out. Then the king said to me in verse 4, what do you request?
Can I just pause and say there's a benefit in relationship? There is a benefit in relationship. He was in a relationship with the king, and he was in a relationship with the king. Exactly.
It is. He has the kings, the natural King Artaxerxes. He has his ear. Mm-hmm. He has his ear that he can say something.
He has more than his ear, because the king noticed that his sadness was not because of sickness. Mm-hmm. He knew enough about Nehemiah to know that his sadness was sorrow of heart, I believe is what it says. And so they were in close enough relationship that he could identify the difference. If I don't know you and you come into my presence sad, I have no clue if you're sad because you're not feeling well. If it's really sadness, maybe it's just, I don't know. But if I'm in relationship with you, when he comes into my presence feeling some kind of way, I usually know around what his some kind of way is centered. If it's something done happen with the kids, something done happen at the church, something done happen with his family, I can identify and kind of pinpoint what this is from because of our relationship. That was all.
Likewise.
Yeah, I would hope so.
So when he says, he just asked him, what's your request? That's favor right there. Because that's not supposed to happen.
Right.
Okay. He says, what is your request? And then this is verse 4. Then the king said to me, what do you request? So I prayed to the God of heaven. And I said to verse 5, and I said to the king.
But
Did you see that?
He prayed again. Now, mind you, he's been praying
for 3 or 4 months.
For months.
Mm-hmm.
He gets the opportunity, and it says, "So I prayed to the God of heaven." Now, this is a conversation. So this ain't one of them verses where it was Monday, and then by the time you get to the next verse, it's Friday.
Right.
This is in one conversation.
Mm-hmm.
We've gone from praying months in the king's presence. King says, "You sad? What's up? What do you need?" Nehemiah has time to pray quickly to God. I want us to acknowledge the fact that it don't matter if you've been praying for months and months and months. When the opportunity comes, you still seek God in the moment, and He will respond quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 5.
This is, she just said exactly what I was going to say in regard to he had a moment to pray. He took that quick moment to pray because this is where verse 4 and 5, and then we're going to quit. Verse 4 and 5 is where it happens just like this.
Just like that, yep.
Okay. King says, "What do you request?" Lord, give me what to say. Boom. And I said to the king, verse 5, and I said to the king, "If it pleases the king, and if your servant has found favor in your sight," come on, Jesus.
Come on.
"If your servant has found favor in your sight, I ask that you send me, not you let me go, but you send me to Judah."
Send me. That means give me the permission of the king.
Mm-hmm.
Give me the king's permission. Not let me go, but you're sending me. But you're sending me with the authority of the king.
Mm-hmm.
That should bless somebody. It's blessing me. I'm sorry. It's blessing me this morning.
It's blessing the table.
It's blessing the table. It's blessing everybody in this house.
He said, "I ask that you send me to Judah, to the city of my father's tombs, that I may rebuild it." This is the first time in the text that Nehemiah's desires are revealed. No time prior to this had Nehemiah physically said, or is it written that he said, "I need to go rebuild the city." Okay, that God has placed this in his heart. Remember, he knew it was in ruin. He knew it was in ruin because everybody, like I know, for instance, I know what my grandmothers and aunts and uncles, great aunts and uncles' houses and whatnot look like today. I know that they're in ruin. I know they're in some disrepair, right? Because nobody's there, right? Or either the family's there and they're not taking care of it as much as they used to because they got their own home or whatever, but nobody's there every day. Okay, so the land that's even there has, as he say in the country, has grown up. So, so the grass and whatever's this high, it's 5 feet high. Now you need to go in there and do some stuff. But I know that, so I don't have to be there to see it. But I know it, and so he had gotten this word that it's still like that, man. It's been like this for over a century, and it is what it is. And Nehemiah gets sorrowful. He prays. He fasts. He mourns for days. He prays for months, as it were. He comes to the king. He asks God for favor. God give him favor. Then he comes to the king, and the king he asks the king to give him that favor, as the king asked, "What do you want me to do for you?" That's good right there. It's not that he said, "King, can you do this for me?" The king said, "What do you want me to do?" Which suggests that I'm ready to do whatever you ask. Whatever you want is yours. You can have everything. You can have it all. And all he says is, "Lord, give me what to say. If it pleases the king, da 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 da." Okay, and we're gonna see later how the king issued this authority as he was prepared to go to Judah and Jerusalem. All right, we gotta quit. We're over time. Into the next hour. Thanks for being with us today. Appreciate you guys for joining us. And
apologies for being late again.
Yes. Tremendously apologize. We are here Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to get it right tomorrow. All right. We'll be back tomorrow. Thanks, everybody, for being with us. If you shared it, great. Appreciate it. If you didn't, go ahead and share it. Let somebody know that we're here.
And just clarify, the church meeting is not this Friday.
No,
it's the following
it's the
Friday.
21st, not this Friday, the 21st of August at 7:15 p.m. All right. And I will say, our musical motivations have ended as far as being on Tuesdays and or Thursdays every week. The band is promoted and headed back into the classroom or back into online classrooms or whatever. And so that has concluded. It was great. It was great. While it was going on, it was great. So maybe we'll have a special one every once in a while.
Maybe we can do some replays.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. We have to look at it. It won't be today. It won't be this week. It won't be this week. I'll tell you that. All right. Thanks, everybody, for being with us. We appreciate you greatly. Remember this. We love you.
And you can't do a thing about it.
All right. Grace.